Right, welcome back. Pretty excited to welcome you to the Azure Data Factory session. Now, what I've done is I've curated Azure Data Factory hands-on session for you, and in the entire playlist, as you see, this video is to introduce to what Azure Data Factory is and what all we're going to cover in this playlist. Now, there are 15, 16 odd videos in this playlist where you can see how you can use Azure Data Factory to orchestrate your data pipeline on Azure. So I start off with Terraform creation, how to use Terraform to create your Azure Data Factory resources. Post that, I'm going to take you through the GUI of Azure Data Factory in the next session, and there are a bunch of other videos around how to use aggregation, how to use different function, and how you could use the orchestration tool into Azure Data Factory. So this video doesn't gonna tell you or give you any hands-on session, but rather an introductory session, and over the next couple of videos I'm gonna help you to get started with your Azure Data Factory learning. Before that, let me give you 2 cents about Azure Data Factory. Is now, if you're working on any data pipelines into Azure, specifically on Azure, you want to go ahead and use Azure Data Factory because it is an orchestration tool, just like Airflow. It's an orchestration tool which orchestrate DAGs written in Python script. So in Airflow, you've got these different tasks which you can run on parallel. Similarly, you can do the similar stuff on Azure Data Factory as well. The good part is it's a no-code solution, which means you don't have to write. You could write, but there are already pre-built custom scripts and plugin available into Azure Data Factory, which simplifies your integration with different data sources. Could be coming from different sources like Elk or Fluentd or any of the data sources landing into Azure ecosystem like storage account, Databricks. So it's got first class support for ETL and ELT job processes, wherein you can load the data, transform the data, and then load the data, or you could do a vice versa also, wherein you load the data first and then the data, transform the data. Azure Data Factory sits right in between, and you've got your source of data coming from different sources, and then it churns, do all the algorithm and do all the data manipulation, and give you in front of a pictorial view which you can see for your customers. Now that's the GUI, and I'm gonna show you in our upcoming session how to use a GUI to orchestrate your data pipeline. As I mentioned, it's a no-code solution, which means to get started you don't have to write anything. What I mean by don't have to write anything, I'll show you in the example also, but let's say you got to make sure that as soon as some unstructured text file lands into your S3 bucket or your Azure storage account, your Data Factory should be able to get the notification that something has landed into the S3 bucket or storage account, and then Data Factory start their orchestration process, start the pipeline without you manually entering or manually triggering anything. It has a first class support with all of the majority of the Azure ecosystem products. Could be storage account, Databricks as well, could be SQL managed instance, could be virtual machine, could be SQL server, could be SSIS. As you can see, there are so many sources you can connect to, like not only Azure, you can connect to non-Azure services also, like S3 bucket, SAP HANA, Google Cloud Storage or buckets, or HDFS, generic HTTP. You can read from Oracle data as well. So you've got these built-in plugins, which mean you don't have to write anything and straight away get started. All right, that's pretty much all. I'm not gonna take much of your time further, and rather let you dive into the hands-on session. Give me a thumbs up if you like the videos, and I have tried my level best to make sure that you understand Azure Data Factory and take the best out of it. I'll see you in the session in the upcoming videos. Thank you.